crazy close to 21. Definitely excited to take off 22 just running. I'm sure you got some big plans on the way.
Yeah, definitely. 22 is going to be big. I think just January alone, I'm excited to have. There's a couple announcements I can't really put out there yet, but we're starting off strong. So definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Learned
And
a lot. 21.
even the team had a crazy 21 too, with just songs like That Go, songs like sharing locations, song like even just non like specific Meek Dreamchasers stuff. Like there was so much more. So it was
Hmm.
really cool to just watch the team come together and just absolutely annihilate it.
Yeah. No, it's exciting because what's funny you saying that. Me and Moan have conversations all the time about because we admire a lot of our peers that are doing it and that are building, teams of producers, and that the way that they go hard is just like, it just motivates you. You know what I mean? Like I'm seeing people's recaps, and it made me kind of think like, man, I'm so proud of my guys, but we got a lot of work to do. You know what I'm saying? Like I look at the Rebel Group, I look at Isla, I look at Playmakers. A lot of these guys, they're out here going crazy, and we did a hell of a job with little support, but there's just always more you can do. You know what I mean? And I think that's what makes people successful, when they don't get comfortable. And but having said that, I don't want to downplay my guys. Definitely really put in that work, and they did some great things this year. So I'm super excited about it.
Absolutely. But yeah, just by way of intro, as a formality, I feel like everybody knows what's going on with this one, but we got a super special one today. My guy Cruz, you might know him as, Meek Mill go-to guy as far as producing, engineering, runs the group. With Mona, we mentioned earlier, TMM, which has a ton of talent and just a ton of crazy records that we talked about kind of before. But like I said, the producer room, powered by producer culture. Everyone make sure they like, comment, subscribe, comment who you want to see next. Because just like today, we got a heavily requested one, the Big Goat Cruz, my guy. What's going on?
Turn me up, Cruz.
What's up, man? How you feeling?
So I'm good. It's interesting. It's been, the weather in LA has been crazy these past couple of days, but hopefully we're just finishing off and about to start really kicking off. But yeah, man, like I said, it was a insane 2021 for you. I know you're starting off 22 strong and about to start, really hitting it in stride. And like I said, a lot of the Dreamchasers Meek stuff is kind of like the staple to the Cruz name, hearing it on intros, outros of the song, Turn Me Up, Cruz, etc. But obviously you don't just roll out of bed one day and start doing that. Like, how did music kind of first enter your life in those beginning times? And how did kind of like engineering, producing, how did it start at that point?
I mean, I've always been in love with music from early on. My mom, when I was like around 7, got remarried, and my father was a huge music fiend. Like he put me on to just different genres, hip hop, pop, rock, jazz, everything. So I've always had, a deep love for music as a youngin'. And I would kind of like mess around with like keyboards back in the day. So when I first started, when I was like getting serious about music, I started trying to produce. And I would like, eventually after kind of getting into producing, try to figure out how to get some of the homies on my beats. I had like a little inbox in the crib, the Pro Tools inbox, and would try to learn how to record. And once I really got into it and challenged myself, I realized that this was really kind of the itch that I needed to scratch. Like, how do you make music sound radio ready? And then doing research on engineers like Guru and Bruce Sudine and Jimmy Douglas, all these legends, it forced me to give up everything that I had going on at the time. If, you know, I was on a corporate hustle. I've told this story a few times, but, you know, for people that don't know, just gave up everything, you know, broke my lease, quit my job, went to Full Sail for a year, you know, stayed in an unfurnished apartment, like really, truly grinded it out. And then went to Connecticut with my grandmother and just was commuting to New York until landed an internship at Rock the Mic, which is Jay-Z's studio. And man, really hit it off with the team at Rock. Family to this day, you know what I'm saying? And through that networking, which I'm missing a lot of stories in between, but just to cut to the chase, you know, that's how I met Meek and all the Rock Nation family. So 2013 is when it really started for me with Meek.
Yeah, it just goes to say, like, the interns always kind of become like, you know, big bosses, especially the hungry ones that are there looking at it as a way of means of transportation from point A to point B, and not just trying to get something put on the resume, check the box, etc. You know, I actually started as an intern for Create. It's really cool to hear you kind of start as at the same point, you know, because everyone always likes to make it seem like they were always on. They were never in this like hungry, you know, chasing it stage. You gotta be
the best part.
Yeah, you gotta be. You won't say it, but I could say it for you. You gotta end up being like a crazy success story for that Rock the Mic internship program. If you think about it, like,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
To this day, it's like we talk about it all the time. Like when I run into OG or Dez or Tata or anybody from that time of me coming up, they all remember that and respect me on another level because they saw me going from that to now being the go-to guy for Meek and his music. And it's just a different type of love. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, they know, they're like, yo, like, they told me, like, you know, that I have like the Rock Nation blood, you know what I'm saying? Like that loyalty, that grind, that spirit, you know what I'm saying? So it goes a long way, man. Like, Guru is my brother to this day. I tap in with him every week. Like, it's a different type of family, you know, when you deal with this phoniness in the industry, it's a relief to have a genuine family, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Even you know, the guys that were my intern class that are still at Create, some of them went elsewhere once it ended. It's always just kind of like a different layer to it because we remember those days. So yeah, you go from, you know, you've always kind of been in the music space, especially with just kind of, you know, stuff from your pops and everything like that. You end up going to Full Sail for a year. That's kind of like the start to like really chasing it and making it what you're gonna do. Before that point, did you ever like download whatever to try to start making beats on your laptop? Like, what are those first early times look like as far as like Cruz production?
I actually, Fruity Loops, I definitely downloaded Fruity Loops after Ninth Wonder put everybody on with the Black album. I had Fruity Loops early on, so I was messing with Fruity Loops, but then I bought MPC 2000 off of Craigslist and was messing around with that. I had, you know, a crazy vinyl collection I was building up, and it's not easy, man. Like, I give it to producers. Like, I always have that love for it, but it's just a certain type of patience and creativeness that you have to have as a true producer. So I have that in my blood, but it's like seeing what these guys do, like watching Nick make beats in 5 minutes that end up being chart toppers, and all the other guys that we rep. It's something special, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think they get enough credit for, because they make it look so easy. You know, like people think like, oh, anybody can make beats. It's like, not to that level. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's a reason there's only like a top however many every year producers. Like, how many people, you know, make beats that will never get to that list? You know what I'm saying? It's like the NBA, you know, like, you got to be really talented. So
yeah.
so, yeah.
And in a lot of different areas too, because, making the beats one thing, but you can put one bad business move that fucks up everything. You could be a dick, which messes up everything networking wise. But I could never agree more. I just couldn't agree more, because I remember a time when, and I relate to it so much because I tried at one point in time. I remember, looking at this beat or that beat, or someone was going to do that, and someone was like, this isn't a very like complex beat. Like, Carl, if you just focused, you could probably make this beat. But I'm thinking in my head, like, bro, I didn't try to make beats back in summer 2015. Like,
Right.
I could not figure it out. I was going to throw my laptop out the window. So, it's just what you just said. Like, people don't think about how many hours have been put into being able to make that 5-minute beat that tops the charts.
Exactly.
For you, what's your first experience like being like a main part to the song? Like, were you working with up and coming artists in your area growing up, recording them and things like that? Or did it not really happen until that those like Rock the Mic internship days?
Nah, early on, I mean, the stuff I was making wasn't that good, but I had people locally in Atlanta that were giving me a shot. Like, I came up in like the spoken word movement in Atlanta. Like, I was a big fan of Def Poetry Jam early on while I was in college, and I ended up linking through MySpace with Abyss, who was like a regular on the show, and like a vet in the city. Like, people know, like, if you know spoken word, Abyss. And that's like my brother. He kind of saw the vision early. Like, I was running a spoken word group on Georgia State campus, Conscious Collective, and I would put events together. And it started, I reached out to him. He came to an event. It was like basically nobody there. But at the time, that was like the highest level I've ever dealt with personally, as with celebrity status. So I was super embarrassed, but we ended up building like a really dope relationship. And I would practice with him. Like, I would send him beats to do his freestyles over and stuff like that. And so that kind of triggered, me being able to really get my thing off the ground and test the market. And through that, he would introduce me to all his people. So I met a legendary group of spoken word artists, but my beats were trash, and he would always just kind of be like positive about it and supportive. But we could admit I had a little work to do, but that's where it started. It was like, in that spoken word scene.
Which again is great to hear, because a lot of people try to act like they were always the GOAT when there was a lot of groundwork to be put into it. But yeah, there was just so much grinding and like put into it. You kind of mentioned that you were skipping some stuff, and you definitely don't have to go back and tell every story or anything like that. But even just from the few minutes we've been going here now, it's clicking to me super quick that you were somebody who has, and to this like day still, maintains such a networking point of view, and just really knowing how important it is and making it happen. Like, speak to that a little bit. Just, you probably do it a bit subconsciously, but just how important the networking component is, like, throughout the industry, and for being able to connect dots and really make things happen.
I think that's probably a key that people forget, being as though the internet makes the world so small. And also, unfortunately, in the social media era, like you said, it makes people think that they're already lit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got however many followers, certain amount of people like my shit. I got Meek to look at a post that I put up, or whoever. And so people don't understand the art of networking, whether it be, whatever your level is, working your way up and building your network is critical. The industry is very small. Once you start kind of getting connected, keeping your face clean, and people knowing when they mention your name that you have a positive record, you know what I'm saying? Because it's very easy for you to get on and network and burn a bridge, and you'll realize, whether you can kind of patch it up and fix it and go a different route, that's gonna hurt you. You know what I'm saying? So like doing good business with people, keeping your word, you know, is very important. You know what I'm saying? How you talk about people, how you deal with people, is critical, man. Because you know, I can say this personally. I don't like doing this too much, but like I've been the reason for certain people even being able to be in our mix, and then they get funny and like, you know, it's nothing to just peacefully just keep it pushing and then, you know, leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? Wash my hands with the situation. But it's unfortunate because on the other hand, we could continue to build and we can grow something way bigger, which is how a lot of the kids in TMM have been able to grow. Like Young Talent and Turbo have a crazy relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like Nick has built amazing relationships with Chi Chi and other people where they're able to collab and, you know, they know that we're going to be fair and we're going to do what we need to do to make sure everybody's taken care of or whatever. And we appreciate the opportunity to be in their mix and vice versa. So it's like, you know, being a good person, man, it seems like common sense, but you would be surprised, you know, like how people get lost in this shit, you know, like it's really sad, man. Like it should be easy, but it's like pulling teeth with some people.
Yeah. It's true. It's the unfortunate reality of what we're going through every day. You know, I can't, like, when this comes out, I'm gonna get people texting me, DMing me like, you need to send my beats to Cruz. You need to send my loops to Cruz. It's like, bro, what do you mean I need to? Like, that's just, and let's just kind of go into it like this. Like, that is so different from, hey, Carl, been watching everything you got going on. Love the interviews. I think I have some stuff that might be a great fit for Cruz. Do you think maybe you could share it with him if he's ever hitting you to look for stuff? Like, two different things that are so night and day. But even with that, it's funny because we just had a really cool one with G-Rai where he was breaking down a lot of his come up, etc. And, you know, he kind of spoke to like, don't block your blessings and in a lot of, you know, different areas. For you, you've had people who have approached you to work that you have worked with. You've had people who have approached you to work that you have worked with, that you, like you said, peacefully kind of parted ways and kept it pushing. You've had people that have approached you that you've just ignored and not worked with altogether. Not to say that's a bad thing. Everybody does that. What, for you, what's kind of like the biggest difference in like that initial approach? Like for you to potentially give somebody a chance versus this person staying in the general inbox and they're staying on red. Like, what's kind of the biggest difference for you when it comes to that, like that initial approach when people are reaching out?
Yeah, I think where I'm at in my life, where I'm at in this game, there's no sugarcoating it, bro. Like, if one hand can't wash the other, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can go to somebody else and maybe build with them. I'm too deep in and I have way too much on the line, quite frankly, to be wasting time where I know I'm not getting anything in return. You know what I'm saying? And to some people that might sound like a dickhead move, but if you really think about it, put yourself in the position that I'm in, right? Obviously you're hitting me up or DMing me or trying to get at me because of my status with Dreamchasers or whoever else I'm around. What could you do for me to make it worthwhile and make it make sense? To put food on my family's table, for me to help you put food on your family's table. It's just the way of this business, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I've been, even to this day, I get people to give me kind of that energy where they're at a certain level and they've been in the game for so long. It's nothing for them to be like, I'm good. We got production, bro. Like, you know, we have our own crew and whatever. But in my mind, I'm like, damn, I thought that was my homie. It's business at the end of the day. You understand? And so I think that's where I'm at with it. You know, there's no sugarcoating. There's no time to beat around the bush. We all have 24 hours in a day, 365. You know, we all need to wake up and be happy we're alive, that we're able to do what we do on a daily basis. You shouldn't have to put all your weight on me and what I can do for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, if me and you can't work, cool, keep it moving. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the homeless person that asks you money and then you tell them you don't got it and they cuss you out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro.
And everybody knows how crazy that person is. So
yeah, it's like, it's unfortunate your situation, but it's like, if I literally don't have it right now, or, you know, I know that like what I'm going to do for you is not going to actually benefit both of us or whatever, you know, get taken out of context, but you get what I'm saying. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, we have to be able to make this make sense at the end of the day. You know, I got a daughter, I got a wife. I'm trying to build this thing. I'm trying to build a legacy. I do have a foundation to help people. We can get to that down the line, but it's like, as far as people just the transactions and me putting you in the mix, and that just can't just happen for nothing. You know what I mean? Like, artists aren't just going to do a walkthrough because you open a new club and they're trying to do you a solid. You have to have something for them to come and promote your club. You know what I mean? Like, business at the end of the day, just keep it business. Don't take it personal. This is a business. You know what I mean?
Every time. And I mean, so look at behind Cruz right now. Look at what's hanging up behind him. Like, this isn't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot on the line.
Yeah.
You know, I'm especially these last couple, I feel like I've been almost extra hard on the up and coming producer world. So let me try to give like a pro tip too, because I always talk about how annoying it is when people just hit you asking for stuff. You always gotta, whether you are somebody who wants to break in, work with an artist, you want to work for this label, you're a producer who wants to work with this producer, artist, whatever, try to spin it in such a way to where you're providing value to them. Even if you being able to work with Cruz adds a ton of value to you by way of these placements you might be able to unlock through that door. But try to do it a different way. Yo, Cruz, I make a ton of loops that, you know, stuff that, you know, I bet is crazier than anything you've heard before. Make it sound better than that. But like, if you ever need some new stuff, some new fresh stuff, whatever, I'm your guy. I'll always have it ready. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's just a big difference. But I feel like people they're always just asking for stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's a whole, like, the way Instagram is now, like, there's a whole spam folder where they just like separated you from that. And I rarely get there. But it's just, I mean, it's just the reality, bro. Like, anybody else will tell you, like, yeah, man, you know, just keep working and this and that, which is true. There's angles and there's ways. I couldn't come in initially and be able to get Guru on the phone the way that I am now. And Guru's always been solid. He's always given keys. He's always given advice and this and that. But the way that I could call him now and be like, yo, Goo, mix this album, and then have him help me learn how to be better in my field. And like, there's a give and take, you know, even having the relationship we have, I always that's just the way that I'm programmed. Like, how can I help you? I need to know that before I get you on the phone. What am I going to do that this guy's going to be like, damn, let's figure it out. Right. Let's see how we can make this work. Like, me and you have had conversations that we will keep offline, but it's like, how can we keep this reciprocating relationship, right? Where I'm not just looking for you to do stuff for me constantly. I'm not going to just keep bringing your line and then eventually you'd be burnt out. Like, bro, like, I'm here to help, but like, damn, can I get something in return? Or like, can you help me when I ask you for a favor? Don't burn me on it. You know what I mean? So it's a give and take in this business, bro. Like, you have to, and I feel like that goes without saying, that you should think that way in every area of your life. Like, you know, you want to be able to help people the way that they are potentially going to help you. You know what I mean? Like, whatever scale that is, it's very beneficial, and it's the key to you being successful and climbing the ladder, because it's becoming more where like the world is smaller because of the internet, but a lot of people have the same formulas now. Like everybody's building up their own teams, and how do you make this make sense? You know what I'm saying? Because it's getting like a little bit harder because of how everything is going. Like everybody has their crew. How do you infiltrate this where like you guys can help each other out? You know what I'm saying? So
100%. 100%. We're gonna that brings up something interesting I want to ask you about. We're gonna get right back to Cruz in a second, but thinking of TMM, all the success, etc. You kind of spoke to like everybody's got their own crew now. And some of them are legit. This producer's got all these producers signed to him. This manager's got all these producers signed to him. This production company's formed. They got all these people signed to them. Some of it is a little more run and gun in the sense that it's one person just makes an Instagram page and then a bunch of people put it in their bio and they're all now a part of this group, which is different. It's not good or bad. It's just different. You are big on collaboration though. Like you even mentioned like young talent working with Turbo and Playmakers and people like that. Salute to my guy Turbo too, big goat. Explain that kind of piece, the collaboration piece, because I feel like some people it's like, this is our group. If you're not in the group, we're not working with you. Don't. But obviously, you know, you're not that way, and it's paid off. So speak to that collaboration piece a little bit.
I think it's important for people to understand that going back to what I was talking about with being able to offer and return, like being open-minded, seeing opportunity with people that you genuinely mess with, right? So like me and Turbo have a really solid relationship. Just going back to like me trying to figure out stuff for him, make our relationship make sense. And, you know, him and Nick clicked earlier on, and Nick having, you know, the guys, they just ended up clicking. But it's that thing of like, you know, collaboration it's not a new concept, right? I mean, you look at the credits on a Kanye album, you look at the credits on all the major albums, collaboration is really the key to people's formula staying fresh. It's the key to, you know, instead of having to jock people's sounds and things like that, let's get together and like, let me bring you my flavor out, you know, and vice versa. So outside of the business, right? We're talking a lot about business, the creative, what it can do when you put aside your pride and say, yo, I really like what Turbo does with X, Y, and Z. And I love what 30 does with his drums and whatever it is. I want to bring them my flavor. You know what I mean? Like now that somebody like a Nick or, you know, one of the guys has built somewhat of a catalog and a following, like, let me bring you some of my flavor while, you know, instead of just being like, I could just do this by myself. Because there's still people like that. There's people that are like anti-collab, because of mostly on the business side. But if you could put all that to the side, you know, be fair and be open, and what it does for music. You know what I'm saying? Like, look what it does for music when somebody like Wheezy gets in with another top producer or another youngin or whatever. Like, it keeps that shit fresh. It keeps music lit, you know, like, because it's very easy for you to get stuck in a box, and you kind of get left in that sound. Like, there's people that early 2000s you'll never probably hear again. Working with a number of different people and having different input in terms of, you know, like early on, Nick used to do the 300 epic sound. That was his thing. And then it just got to a point where Meek was like, yo, tell Nick he needs to switch it up. Like, we gotta come with something fresh. And so, like, you know, building up his network and us working together to collab with more people and being open to, you know, different ideas and different sounds, it just helps both sides. You know what I mean? It opens up the networking and it opens up the actual creative process. Like, it's fun. It makes it fun, you know, when you can make it make sense and worry about the business later and be a genuine good person. Like I said, it makes everything better.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like you said, there's not too many hit songs where it's just one or two people. Mostly all the hits have a lot of people bringing in a lot of different flavor, etc. The business is the reason that a lot of that stuff gets held back sometimes, but you know, if people just gotta do it the right way, understand it, and then you can stand on it. Because sometimes it gets confusing, but managers and legal does work for you at the end of the day. So if you look someone in the eye and you agree on something, regardless of what you two agree on it, regardless of what your peoples end up saying or fighting about this, that, and the third, you can always tell them what it is, and that's what it is. Simple as that.
Right.
We obviously gotta speak to it. You mentioned earlier, the Rock the Mic internship, Rock Nation, how you become family there. The Meek introduction early on. Kind of same speaking to with Nick, and how at one point you guys kind of, by way of like Meek suggestions, kind of switch it up, come with something new and fresh. How does the whole like Cruz, TMM, Nick, whoever, like, how does it kick off with the relationship with Meek, and how does it become like a bigger thing all in all?
Actually, so to start it from the top is Meek discovers Nick, right? And he's like, Cruz, I like this kid. I want to get him locked in. You know what I mean? Like, I want him to be a part of Dreamchasers. This is 2015 going on 16, I believe. And so me and one of Meek's partners get in contact. Long story short, we lock Nick in. He's family now, and we get to work. And then fast forward, Nick starts connecting with other younger producers via live or however, like having people send him ideas and things like that. And then opens the door to other producers. And a friend of mine, Will, actually connected me to Moan in like 2017, 2018, something like that. And Moan's been in the mix in Philly for years. Like, I mean, he's seen the come up of, all the big artists and producers and writers. And he's always had his ear to the street. He's very talented with just having like a good ear for talent, and like on an A&R tip, you know what I mean? Like, he just has like the gut feeling. And me and him connect. He's already kind of like working the set and things like that. And he has this vision of TMM and wanted me to be a part of it. And so, we started off, and it's like, we start building a team. We have, I think we have like a extensive team right now of just like, loop makers and producers. We with artists is just a whole other thing. With artists is like totally different. I definitely want to stick to producers and writers, but over time, man, the things that we've been able to do just independent, and trusting our gut and just like really going full force with it and helping develop these kids it's been amazing, you know what I'm saying? Because we really take it serious. We really treat this as a family. And it's been a hell of a ride, and it's just really getting started. We really just kind of kicked into gear over these last couple of years, really, like getting like our bigger records and things like that. So yeah, it's been a hell of a ride.
It's been crazy, just crazy to watch too. So 2015-ish, Nick, however he does it, ends up popping up on Meek's radar. When Meek have a conversation, you guys lock in. How does it happen for you before that point? Like, how do you and Meek even like lock in, and how do you get to a position where, you're a key player to the team, somebody that he's hitting up about something that major because he knows that you're a go-to guy that'll get it done?
Yeah, this is so going back to Rock the Mic, like 2013, he's working on DC3 at the time, and showed up to the studio. He didn't have an engineer. He was kind of just working with the in-house guys. he had been through a bunch of engineers. He mentions it in a documentary around that time of just the stress and the frustration of changing up studios and the vibe because of the engineer and all that, and not really being able to lock in creatively the way that he wanted. And so, you know, when we first met, it was like June 2013, and he had been working with so many different people that he kind of was like, he kind of tested me. I think the first night, I didn't even record him the first night. I recorded his cousin, and he was just kind of like, you know, catching the vibe, just seeing kind of how it worked and things like that. And then maybe 2 weeks in, we caught a rhythm. You know what I mean? Like we caught a groove. He put out, I think the first thing he put out was Versace Remix that we did together. And I remember thinking like, damn, I didn't even get to like do a final mix on it or anything. He just was like loving it and just threw it out. And I heard it on Flex or something like that, or probably like Rap Radar, you know, put it up on their blog. And I was just like, oh shit, like this is serious. You know what I mean? Like this is my, you know, recording out here. And, you know, probably like a couple months in, this conversation just got more and more real of like, yo, I'm ready to travel when you're ready. You know, like I'm ready to run around and just be your go-to guy. And so towards the end of DC3, like right towards the end when he was headed to Miami, we were finalizing, the combo was like, you know, let's do it, you know, like whatever it is, like, let's try to figure it out. And, I remember being nervous because I was like, damn, I help as the in-house engineer at Rock the Mic, and I'm also doing AV work at 4040, and I was juggling both. And I was like, damn, I got to tell him like I'm running with Meek, like I got to do it. And I remember Dez just being like, bye, you know what I'm saying? Like, enjoy, you know, congratulations, all that. Like, and so it's just been history ever since. And the first place we went was Atlanta. And I just remember just feeling like, you know, excited and just having a lot to prove. You know, I always felt like, man, I got to prove why I need to be here, why I'm so valuable. And I just went hard from day one, you know, just making sure I was as valuable as I needed to be. Over the years, I've done that, and we have a genuine relationship that, you know, that you couldn't ask for. You know what I mean? Like it's, you know, it's like a genuine working relationship. So it took a while, but it you know, we clicked really well, and it just grew into like me helping with making sure he has production and helping with Nick, and you know, helping Nick grow. And now Nick has people that he, you know, his go-to guys that he works with, and just it's just an awesome thing, man, like to be able to grow in a crew like this and to be open, like to have so much creative freedom, you know what I mean? Because of how much there was just kind of like for the taking, you know what I mean? Like there wasn't an in-house engineer, there wasn't a go-to outside of course, you know, Jalil, Tone, like he has people that he has as go-to people that he looks for production, but just not having like the in-house like Nick that like, you know, is there, you know what I mean? Like actually signed to the team, and then being able to help potentially build out like a stronger production team with him. So it's been a hell of a ride, man. Like I've learned a whole lot. And recently, you know, the conversations have gotten a lot stronger, and I'm excited, you know, for the future. And I want to continue to build with him. And, you know, I still have that feeling of like, I still have a lot to prove, you know, like I did that already, you know, like I did that. And now I want to go bigger. And now I want to impact in bigger ways, you know?
Absolutely. Man, it's crazy to just hear about the whole come up and how many different, you know, twists and turns there are, and just, you know, recording for his cousin for a however long session to doing stuff with him that, you know, working through other beats, the Versace remix and things like that. I think this is before Dreamchasers 3, which means it's after Dreamchasers 2. and also after Dreams and Nightmares, which I think people got to keep in mind too. Like at that point, he's damn near the biggest artist out. Like, so it's really crazy that you had locked in, you know, at that point back then. A belated salute to my guy Moan too, because he's definitely on it as far as up and coming talent in the area as well.
Right.
Damn, it's just crazy how vital of a piece the engineer is to all of it, the nucleus basically. Me and you were kind of discussing different, you know, the kind of like new rise and like the engineer wave. We were kind of discussing it a little bit off camera. Is there any other engineers, like producers always talk about producers that they looked up to or kind of like studied when they were coming up? Is there guys like that for you that you were kind of like looking at and trying to like, you know, build your fundamentals off of them? Is there engineers now that you like collaborate with? Maybe not you guys both working on the same record, but that like you'll hit up and ask for advice on certain things. Is there kind of go-to guys for you in that sense?
Man, I have so many, like some of my truest friends are fellow engineers because we understand each other's struggles. And so it's like a no-brainer, you know what I mean, to for that to be like your most solid network. But before getting into it, definitely Guru was, you know, the main person I look to, just as like the hip OG from the hip hop side that, like, you know, was working with the biggest artists to me in the world, Jay-Z, and what they built at Rockefeller, and just admiring that, you know what I'm saying? Because like outside of like a Bruce Sudine who worked with Quincy Jones and all these massive artists like Michael Jackson, Jimmy Douglas with Timbaland and all the, you know, legends that he worked with, like Guru, I felt like was the one that I related to the most, of kind of the blueprint, no pun intended, of how I would want to be respected in the business. You know what I'm saying? But as I've gotten into it, yeah, I mean, you know, I try to tap in with my guys and just see how I could be of value to them. Like, you know, Ali obviously has the biggest movement with engineers, and just always trying to be as helpful as possible of like how I can help him with his movement, even though he has like a massive team and network and is doing amazing things. You know, always wanting to be supportive, you know, Mez with J. Cole, my guy James Royo.
James.
There's so many. Yeah, James. You know, man, AO1, Emix, like the list just gets pretty crazy, you know. And I'm missing a lot of guys that are family, you know, Jess, who's been amazing over the last couple of years. I've tapped in with Jess Jackson, and he's been super dope. But the relationship I think that I've built with Guru is like, it's just different, man. Like, it's crazy because what I learned as we kind of built our relationship is he has the same birthday as my dad, and they're both kind of the same in a way, you know what I mean? Like, they're different, but like they have like the way that they are so passionate when it comes to a topic like music or the technical side of certain stuff. Like him and my dad are very like, you know, they're like book nerds, and like, you know, and so I appreciate that relationship a lot, man. It's definitely kept me grounded and kept me sane, you know what I mean? But yeah, I have a massive network, and I always just look to help my guys as much as possible in any way. Going back to what I was talking about with just being able to help, you know, they help me a lot. I always want to figure out how I can help them. And so, yeah, man, it's been amazing. Like some of the guys that I've looked up to and being able to have that full, you help them, you know, put food on the table, and, you know, the way that they've helped you with stuff that has helped you become great in the business. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, it's pretty dope to think about. And being at this time of year where you're like reflecting, it's like, damn, you know, it's like a real family vibe.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of continuing in that kind of same vein, where do you kind of see this? You and I were speaking to, we'll just give him the big shout out now, Cheese now,
Mhm.
with just how much she's doing as far as putting the whole like engineer position on the map. And like he's someone who's so in the mix with everything NBA going on that
Mhm.
it'd be hard for him not to be in that spot, but he is in that spot and he's running with it and killing it. Everyone
Mhm.
knows like at this point he's a producer on these songs, just like he's an engineer, etc. Where do you
Mhm.
kind of see, with things like he's doing and other people, this kind of like engineer wave kind of like evolving into next? Like, where do you kind of see it going from here?
I mean, what I hope happens is that people realize how much we do. And again, to my point of certain people wouldn't even have the opportunity to be in our circle or in the field of what we do if we didn't bring them in creatively and allow them the opportunity to be in front of our artists. And um, we don't control all of it, obviously. Depending on the team around, like they're going to hear stuff regardless, but the stuff that we do actively control and bring to the table, I think Cheese is making it a point of like, yo, I'm involved in a lot of this, you know what I'm saying? And he's getting what he deserves. And I don't think that should be a taboo thing. I think the engineer that are as involved as we are should be getting what they deserve in the work that they help create. So I just think that should become normalized. Like there's a piece for us, and I know the pie is big enough. It could be split up amongst however many people. Little piece here and there adds up. You know what I'm saying? I think it's only fair. Everybody doesn't deserve that. I think the person that's just the push button, like you clock in just to collect your check or whatever, that don't have the same passion or drive, or you're not as involved. It's different, but people that actually potentially help the artist to the point where they love the record now because of the things that you've done, that you and the producer bouncing ideas off of each other, knowing your artists and being able to create things that end up sticking because of the work you collectively put in. Why shouldn't they have a fighting chance at a couple percentage points or whatever the case? You know what I mean? I think that should be normalized. I don't think that it should even be a taboo subject.
Yeah.
So Cheese is a big advocate, and he's doing his thing. He's lit. He's dealing with the artist that trends #1 on YouTube every time they drop a record. One of the top streaming artists, and he's getting some of that, and he deserves it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that there should be any question about that. And I'm super proud of the work that he's put in, because I've seen his struggles and his journey, and what he's been able to build is amazing, man. Like he's really on the ground floor with these kids, you know what I'm saying? Like really grinding it out with them and building genuine relationships. And so, yeah, like there's no reason why he shouldn't be getting that. And a lot of the guys like myself and others that put in the type of work we put in, we should be getting some of that, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think that should be the norm moving forward. I think, however we need to make that happen, we should, I think we should figure that out. Everybody has the opportunity to figure that out for themselves. Unfortunately, the way the engineering world is set up, it's very hard to create a union, but it's like we each, having said that, we each have our own responsibility to like one of my OGs always told me, don't play yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever it is, figure it out before it's too late. Like you can't have the record out, paperwork's done, and you're like, damn, I was supposed to get this. Like, did you ever bring it up the right way to the right people? Did you ever figure it out? Don't play yourself. You know what I'm saying? Don't wait for somebody to hold your hand and figure it out for you, So there's ways to do it where you don't have to bother the artist. Hopefully you deal with a cooperative producer, but you don't have to ruffle too many feathers, I don't think.
Yeah, you definitely don't. But I agree completely. And just being able to watch some of these records come together from, you know, being nothing to a finished product. There's oftentimes where the engineer puts more into the structure and the beat itself, which ends up being obviously a huge part of the overall song than the actual producer does some of the time.
Mhm.
So, like I said, it should definitely be normalized. I don't know if it ever will or won't be standard, but it's definitely something that should become more normal. No ifs, ands, or buts. Like producers they're going like, how many times have you sat there and ran the same line back 4,000 times? Like, I'm sure you've done that on a daily basis. Like,
Yeah, it depends. Like Meek works. I mean, you got to think, right? Like he's working off the top. You know what I mean? Like he's not writing the stuff down. It's all mental. It's all, and there's so many things happening at one time. Like the way that I've heard, people talk about one take Hove and all that. Jay will, before he hits the mic, will run this back in his head. Meek doesn't work that way because things are happening so fast that it just like, it flows. Like he needs to get on the mic immediately and run through a few takes of a certain, like he'll run the take that you think is perfect that he hears imperfections about, yeah, I could do that better. But to your point of having to hear things multiple times, it's because of the workflow of some of these artists, like, like I said, like Meek is literally working this out live, freestyling off the top. And so yeah, it's tedious, but it's like, damn, it's amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like you couldn't do some of the stuff these guys do, and say things that actually are super crafty and legendary and quotable, and it's crazy, man. But yeah, having to your point, there should definitely be that should be normalized. It's
yeah,
not going to be standard anytime soon, but it should. We shouldn't make it a taboo thing. It should be a regular conversation. I'm getting that more. Having said that, of people like, yo, if we can figure this out, I can make sure you get taken care of and whatnot, which I always appreciate because it goes to back to the conversation of like, one hand wash the other. You know what I mean?
definitely.
Yeah.
It'll like you said, it definitely shouldn't be a taboo thing, and making strides in that direction is a really good thing, I think.
Mhm.
Obviously you have so much going on music wise. I want to get into some of your big goals for 2022. I'm sure you already have some of them accomplished with just planning ahead and being ready ahead of time. But you have so much going on music wise, obviously. What's some stuff that you're excited about non-music wise, just in the life of Cruz? Anything that you've been working on that you're excited about as far as that goes?
Yeah, actually, I just recently started up the Break It Down Foundation, which is inspired by my come up and my Hispanic background and people looking at underrepresented minority youth as lesser than, you know what I mean, whether they say it with body language or just blatantly just the temperature in America. It's really sad, and overcoming certain situations. I always wanted to give back and to offer my platform as a way to pay it forward. And so I've created this foundation where we're helping, these minority youth be able to learn the music business from, top dogs. So myself and other my peers will throw, workshops and I'm helping to put together a scholarship at my alma mater, Georgia State, and being able to give back. That's really like my top thing right now. No lie, being able to give back to the up and coming guys, to people that because I remember coming up and certain things being so taboo. So I've always been wanting to give back. Like I remember coming up and wanting to learn people's templates and how they like learn their workflow, and people not wanting to share that information. which is like really, it's weird when you look back on it, because now it's such a regular thing, right? Like everybody gives up their sauce and drum kits and sounds and templates and whatever. But when I did it, it wasn't like a regular thing, outside of drum kits, engineers weren't just like sharing their sauce. And this is what we actually use. And so taking that a step further and giving back, I just did my first workshop late November with my homie Brett from Soho Youth Club. And, we were able to do a free workshop at Quad in Times Square. They offered us the space to be able to do it. And man, like to put that together and to bring in the people that I brought in, like I had my entertainment lawyer there. I had my man Ben, who's now working with Uzi. For us to be able to talk to these kids and give them like the real deal, like this is what we are doing. This is what you need to know to succeed. So I can't wait to just continue this, and to go harder. And that's really my main focus in my foundation right now.
Fire. Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, I didn't even put two and two together, but I definitely saw a bunch of clips from that workshop I think I saw one specifically of Jason speaking. Shout out to Jason, one of the big GOAT lawyers in the space. And I think I saw another clip of maybe Ben or someone else, but yeah, that's awesome. That was really, really cool to see. And it's I'll definitely keep my eye out for more of that. In the new year and time beyond as well. Cause I think the same thing I've noticed, which is like people afraid to like give up their sauce or whatever when it comes to certain things. It's always kind of interesting to me because like if somebody were to say to me, well, what if I teach someone else my secrets and then they become better than me and pass me? Then I'm thinking like, then you're the GOAT. Like, what do you mean? You're the fucking GOAT. Like you're the GOAT mentor, the GOAT OG. Then like, isn't that kind of what you want if you're in that space of trying to groom talent? But I don't know, maybe I'm crazy.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic, but yeah, I just think that I'll say it like this, like even me giving up my exact workflow, the template I use, everything else, there's never going to be an exact duplicate. So whether it be somebody leg up me and do something more efficient or whatever, cool, but you're not going to be Cruz and I'm not going to be you. And you know what I mean? So I think that's the beauty of it, is that there's something that you bring inherently to the table that you can't teach them, but at least you could set them up for success where you didn't have certain game that could have helped you from some of your worst sessions. You know what I'm saying? And I want people to be able to avoid that as much as possible, because you're always going to have to go through failures. You're always going to have to go through hiccups, but there's certain things that I went through that I'm like, damn, if somebody would have just been able to coach me through this, or, give me some game, like I could have avoided that. Like some super embarrassing moments that I was able to recover from, so yeah, man, I just so traumatized in the way that I want to deal with it. Is like, yo, I'm gonna save y'all from ever having to do that in your career.
Yeah. I've had my fair share of those as well, but I'm sure we all have. But yeah, I mean, in closing, like I said, know you're busy. Appreciate you jumping on. In closing, big 2022 is here. What are some things you got in motion that are gonna, kind of come to fruition in 22 that you can speak on, of course? And then what are some of the other kind of like big plans or goals you have mapped out for the year?
I think the biggest goal that I have is to bring a level of value to Meek and to the Dreamchasers, of us being to me, I'm just so competitive, man. Like when it gets to this time of year and we're not mentioned, I just take that, and like the way I'm gonna deal with it is, we're gonna come with some of the biggest records, and I want to make sure I do my part to make that happen. You know what I'm saying? that's one of the biggest things, because we put a lot of work in, and I don't hear a lot of conversation around it for whatever reason. And I take that personally, you know what I'm saying? Like Jordan. So you can only imagine where my head is at, and I'm gonna channel it in a competitive way of like making sure we come with the biggest records, you know, however we got to do it. And also just to keep helping my guys, you know, get these placements and become some of the most talked about producers in the game. You know, I'm very proud of what they've done and what they've been able to do. And I just want to put them on a bigger platform and help them grow even more. You know, because again, it's just like, there's just nothing better than the give back of it, you know, and the paying it forward and being able to help people. That's really, I mean, it's more given than taken, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's where you really win. And I think that's where you sleep the best at night, is when, you know, you're able to just like help people and give to them. The money's always going to come. It's really just like, you know, the creative that drives what we do, the passion that we have for it, you know, over the business. But, you know, so yeah, man, we're just gonna come harder. That's really like the bottom line. Like, you're a candle in the sun is kind of the motto for 2022.
Yeah. So I'm right there with you. I see some of these hit makers list or noise makers, this and that. I'm like, damn, I feel like I done had some, me and my guys that had this or that or whatever. But you know, it's good means for extra motivation. And then secondly, no matter what any list says, this, that, and the third, everyone knows Cruz going down as legendary. Both for the things you've been able to accomplish, and then also just like building the team around you. So we appreciate it big time. Definitely appreciate it big time.
Yeah, thank you, bro. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Well, like I said, the producer room, powered by producer culture. Everyone, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, comment who you want to see next. Make sure you share this with a friend, because a ton of really good information in this one. But like I said, the GOAT Cruz, we appreciate it big time.
All right, man. Appreciate you.